Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Dipti and welcome to my show Artistry. Today I have with me the founder of the beautiful candle company, Candle Up, Ms. Ridhima Berry. Hi Ridhima. Thank you so much for joining me here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
And congratulations. I must compliment you on your beautiful candles.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Tell me, Ridhima, how was growing up in Delhi?
Oh God, you hit right at the spot. Growing up in Delhi Delhi as a city is amazing. I think it teaches you to be street smart. In those days, we didn't have as much crime, so we were allowed to walk to school. In fact, my dad he got me a scooty at the age of 10 and he said, you go and come back by yourself. It's too much headache to go and drop you and pick you up. So I think I think people from Delhi not just Delhi, but like Delhi really teaches you a lot of things, and it has the most amazing food. So I'm a big foodie, and so I grew up in Delhi. I did my schooling there, and after my schooling, I went abroad to Australia to study French culinary. And 2 years later, when I finished it, I came back to my country. I was like, I'm never moving again, and I want to live here all my life. Yeah, so Delhi was amazing.
Yes. So growing up in Delhi, going to Australia for your further studies, you became a chef at the Culinary Institute?
Well, yes, that was the initial plan. I thought I like cooking. Why not go to Australia and learn to be a chef? And I really thoroughly enjoyed my first few months in Australia. It was the first time for me to get out of India and go abroad. So the whole enigma of like a foreign country, student life was nice, exciting. The first time you live without your parents. But as and when I went through the course, I realized that this is definitely not something I'm going to take up as a profession. And while you're doing the course, you're also supposed to work in a kitchen. Otherwise, you don't get your diploma. So you have to work 2,000 hours. So in Australia, while doing your course, I was doing 3 jobs at the same time. So I would like study till 12. And then from 12 to maybe 9, 10, I would be like really slogging myself in a kitchen. You don't immediately get like a chef job. I was like washing dishes, and slowly I moved on to front counter. And then slowly I got a job in a Greek restaurant, then Italian restaurant, where I was a kitchen hand, and I failed miserably at it. So I'm like, okay, let me just do my hours, complete my education, and go back to India and go back to marketing and sales. Yeah, so Australia was beautiful. I made the best of friends there, but the chef plan didn't go as planned.
All right. Happens to a lot of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
So back in India, did you start as, what did you work as?
So when I was finishing my last year in Australia, I started collecting money. And I said, okay, I love Bollywood. Let's become an actress.
Wow.
So I collected like enough savings, and then I think the week before my flight back to Delhi, I said, Nana, I'm just gonna come to my dad's no more, and my Nana is like literally the father figure of the family. So I said, I'm just gonna like spend 1 week in Delhi, and then I'm going to Mumbai. I said, for what? He said, I want to pursue acting. Then he said, na shakal hai na akal hai, pagal ho gayi hai, Mumbai jana hai acting. And I said, don't worry, I don't want your money. I have my own, but at least I'll not say that I never tried. So then I went to Mumbai for 9 months. I had a side job as well in order to give some extra cash, but I was auditioning and everything. And then I would just freeze in front of the camera.
Oh.
I was like, okay, so I guess I failed this one as well. I said, okay, paise khatam ho gaye. After 10 months, I'm like, okay, it's time to go back.
Bollywood missed an amazing actress, is it?
Well, no, it's not a disaster.
Wow. So no forks for you, no knives for you. Chef is not working. No camera for you.
No.
How did candles come into your life?
as I said, like after my acting job, I said, okay, let's just go back to marketing and sales. So I, did a few jobs and I was doing well at it at some stage, but I think the boredom kicked in. And towards the end of 2012, I, finally gave up my job and I was about to get married. And we got married, and right after the marriage, we moved to Cambodia. So I said, okay, I think I'm just good enough to be a housewife. And we moved to Cambodia. We conceived like within the first year, I had my baby. I was like a very happy housewife, a very happy mom. And in the process, thanks to my daughter, when children are born, they bring their own luck and fortune with them.
Absolutely.
So my friend also had a baby at the same age as my daughter. So we started hanging out a lot. She was Estonian. And one day she tells me, hey, let's do something. We've got so much time in hand. We've got these small babies. They're always sleeping. So I said, what do you want to do? And she's like, let's make candles. I'm like, okay, but I have no clue about candles. She said, no, we make soy wax candles. And she's telling me how it's so eco-friendly and it's all going over my head. She said, no, don't worry. I'll teach you. So she taught me candle making. And that's how we started just making candles for fun. And then our friends really liked it. They started buying it. And then 1 month in, she had to go back to her home country. So she moved back to Estonia, but she gave everything to me. She's like, you go ahead, but I need to leave. So then that's when like Candle Up was born. And I had so many ideas. And when you're single, entrepreneur versus with someone, soon as she left, I just threw in whatever ideas I had. And that's how Candle Up started.
Amazing. So, a chance encounter, a chance conversation with a dear friend.
Absolutely.
And it leads to a company and, see where you are. That's so amazing. So all those coffee chats are not, waste of time and money, actually.
Not at all.
Awesome. So after Cambodia, did you move to Hong Kong directly?
No, after Cambodia, we moved to Bangladesh, where we lived for 6 months. So we restarted Candle Up there. But unfortunately, due to the huge terrorist attacks that happened in Dhaka in 2015, it became a no family zone. So I had to shut down everything. And then from there, my husband's company was nice enough to move us to another base. So we came back to Delhi, where I'm from. So then I moved to Delhi, and that's where Candle Up was restarted again for a year and a half. And then we came to Hong Kong.
And now you started it for the third time.
Yes, third time, yes, in Hong Kong.
Tell me, Ridhima, how difficult is this to, put down your roots, especially a business, not just friendship, business, where you need to make friends first and then it goes to the next level, right? People need to know you to follow up with your brand. How difficult is this journey of starting and restarting?
For me, to be honest, I wouldn't call it a difficulty or a challenge. In my dictionary, that doesn't exist. For me, when I make candles, it's all about, creating something so beautiful that when people see it, they should be wowed. So my incentives are not money, revenue, sales. My incentive is, okay, I've got some time in hand, let me make something beautiful. And then the rest flows. So I was never really I'm not really in a competition. I'm not here to do like a certain target every month. As I must have mentioned, I'm not sitting down with Excel sheets. All I want to do is just create beautiful things. So for me, no matter where I was, as long as I had my hands in my wax and my material, I would just look around myself and see, what do I have here? And I would use those things and take that as an opportunity. Every new place for me is a new opportunity. So that was like a new opportunity. And I took everything together and made something out of it. So I would say for me, it was not difficult because for me, it was a new opportunity, a chance to be reborn. So
amazing, Ridhima. Such a positive outlook because, people get disappointed. People, lose that steam. They're like, again and again, you need to restart. Oh, let me give it up. So you're such a positive person. Amazing to know this. I understand that candle is creativity, right? Candle making is creativity. First, tell me, what does a candle mean to you? What does it represent?
Okay, a candle for me, it can mean different things for different people, but a candle for me, when I look at it, it's something that brings light and warmth. So when I'm making candles, it is a good reminder for me to keep that light and warmth lit inside me at all times. We often forget that we are more than just a housewife or just a mother. And when we do something other than just mothering or looking after the house, we forget that we are also, like, I'm also Ridhima Berry. There is something more to it. And this candle business is exactly that. It gives me a platform to really go out there and show the world and scream like, hey, there's a Ridhima Berry who's not just a mother and a housewife. So that's what candle is for me. It keeps my flame lit at all times. And I hope I can be a candle and help other people through my candle, light other candles. That's
So beautiful. You are definitely Ridhima Berry and not just a mother and a housewife and everything else. Yeah. Amazing, Ridhima. Ridhima, can you explain in brief the process of candle making?
Okay. So candle making is basically very technical, extremely technical. So it's a lot of science. Creativity is just, the showcase. But it is really a lot of science. If you mess up the temperature that you're pouring it in, if you mess up the temperature that you're mixing the scent in, if you're not mixing the right scent in. So it's a lot of testing, a lot of trial to make that perfect candle. And also at the same time, it has, just like maths, like it's like infinite. There is not only these many scents that can be made. There can be so many scents that can be made. So I'm still learning. Like now that I'm also doing workshops for people, I'm so amazed when people like blend two scents that I've never blended together, and they make something so beautiful. So candle is like it's like a forever learning experience. There's no way I can say that, okay, now it's been 7 years and I know everything. I tell my clients I'm still learning. So bear with me.
Definitely. Yes, I did see your workshops. I think the recent one was with Hive Hong Kong.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. So you're taking corporate workshops. Are you also taking like private classes or anything like that at your house or something?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, whatever is convenient. I'm also planning to do birthday parties. So if people want, I can go to their place. I can hold like a candle making workshop at a birthday party, or I can have like a private group of friends. Usually 9 out of 10 times, it's like a private group of friends that want to sit down and celebrate their birthday by making candles, or they want to sit down and just have a good time, relaxed time. So I let people really, enjoy. So I keep it like 2 hours so that people can sit and enjoy and chit chat. So it's not something that's very, okay, when you sit down and minute by minute, there's something to do. So it's like a fun, relaxed, therapeutic experience where I really open up my house and I display all my scents, I display all my jars, and people are allowed to pick anything that they want, and they can mix any amount of scents they want. They go crazy going over like, Ridhima, you have so many scents, I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, that's the idea.
It sounds a lot of fun. Now, blending with the fun, I understand that you're very, very environmentally conscious.
Yeah.
And you tell people again and again, you have told me that once your jar is empty, please bring it back for a refill.
Yeah.
Where did this consciousness come from? And how did you implement it? Was it from the very beginning, or did it dawn on you later?
Oh, I think refill is something that I have always told people from the beginning, because the whole idea was that I'm giving you these beautiful ceramics or jars that are too pretty to throw out. They will not be able to throw out. So I'm like, now I'm binding you to a jar for life. Either you refill it, or if you don't want it, you can donate it back to me, or you can, gift it or just reuse it, to put trinkets inside. So the whole idea is that I want my candle jar also to be so pretty that people don't dare to throw it and increase the landfill. So it's since inception. And even if people sometimes don't refill, they still have the old jars and they would still be using it like as a pencil storage case or something or the other.
So if we buy candles from you, we can come back to you and say, Ridhima, please fill it back for us. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's all customized. So people like that. let's say if someone found something too strong or something too citrus or something too woody, they can choose exactly what they want. They can tell me, I want this inside, and I make it exactly like that.
How very nice. How very nice. Ridhima, how are your candles different from the normal candles that we buy from anywhere?
First of all, 80% of my jars and ceramics are recycled ceramics. So these are not things that I've picked up newly. These are all things that I've picked up from recycle shops so that people have donated. So there is definitely a carbon footprint that you're lessening by buying a candle from Candela. And secondly, they are unique because I always go out and pick something that is unique by itself. A lot of my pieces are unique. So I don't have two pieces of one kind of jar sometimes. So when people buy something, they know that it is their own. It's not 30 other people who have the same jar as well. So I try to be unique. Whatever I find pretty and I feel like this could be a part of someone's home, I pick that up. I don't order like 200 jars of, a particular a design that then I have to sell and I can't go to another design. So I don't tie myself down with one or two designs because I just go out and I pick up recycle jars or I adopt jars.
Okay, okay. And what do you mean by vegan candles?
So vegan means basically it's made with soy wax, which is made out of soya, which is a vegetable. So it's a vegan wax. And the beautiful thing about a vegan wax is that when you burn a soy wax candle, there's 100% combustion, which is why there's no pollution when you burn this candle. Whereas a paraffin candle, which we find everywhere, when you burn it, you'll always see the walls of the candles will be blackening. That shows you that it emits toxins and it is polluting the air in your house. So it's up to you whether you want a clean burning candle or something that is actually polluting the pure air in your house.
So even with one candle, we can become conscious of what we are doing to our environment. Absolutely. And what we are, taking in, breathing in.
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes we are actually not conscious, right? I mean, candles are candles until you give it a thought, a little bit of more thought to it.
Absolutely. And once the candle is burned, especially during Diwali and Christmas, there is so much landfill that comes from candles and candle jars. It's really sad to see. So that was the whole idea that, okay, instead of throwing it, why don't you buy something that can be a part of your home for a long, long time at least, and then you refill it constantly.
Definitely something to think about. On a lighter note, what are your top 3 fragrances that you would always want in your house?
Okay. I love strong scents. So my top 3 would be bergamot. The other is frankincense. And the third one would be ginger lily. I love floral and woody scents. So yeah, these 3 would be my top 3.
So do you attach a purpose to a particular scent?
Well, a lot of people say that, oh, I want something, to calm myself. I want something to, have a dinner party. So then, yes, people can choose like a citrusy scent for a party. They can choose a lavender if they want to relax. They can choose eucalyptus if they have, some kind of a runny nose or a headache. So the candles do work for a lot of people in that sense. So if they ask me for a certain candle pertaining to a certain ailment or a certain discomfort that they're feeling, then I can definitely recommend those kinds. So there's like a huge list that you can, compare it with. Okay, for this is that. For this is that. So.
Do you see that there is a certain increase in the aromatherapy products in the world, like essential oils, candles, things like these which soothe and calm people down?
Yes, because as you might be seeing that now yoga is something that, started in our country. Now yoga is something that everyone is claiming to be as like the new way to de-stress, and at every yoga class people are using essential oils before and after the yoga. They're using candles. So definitely I think I would say candles, yoga, meditation, all of these are like a strand that comes with this consciousness. I feel there is this consciousness which is building in people over time to be more conscious of themselves, to be more conscious of the environment, be more conscious of their emotions. And more or less, I think candles are kind of associated with that. So definitely there is an increase, and people are trying to now, go for more aromatherapy ways to cure, their sickness instead of always going for like a medicine or a paracetamol. So definitely there is a huge consciousness. There's so much information available on the internet. So people are really going out and increasing their aromatherapy experiences.
Yeah, it's kind of aromatherapy is an alternative treatment, growing these days. Yeah. Amazing, Ridhima. Now, Ridhima, what is your motto of life and what is the motto of Candle Up?
I think the motto of Candle Up, I keep saying, is refill and reduce landfill. That is definitely my motto. Let's not increase more landfill. We already have so many masks going in the landfill. We have so much going in the landfill. It's really makes you shiver when you think of what's going to happen when this COVID will end and all that masks, where will they go? So why add more to it? And my personal motto in life is live life one day at a time. You can't really control the future, neither can you control the past. So in order to be happy, it's so important to stay happy in life. And for that, you need to stay in the moment. If you plan too much, you'll always be up for disappointment. So I can't handle disappointment, so I live in the moment.
That's a lovely note. Do you find it difficult to follow your motto?
In order to keep yourself reminded of all these things, it's very important to connect at all times. By connect, I mean meditate and self-reflect. So I think it's like, like a COVID injection. Bas ek shot laga diya doesn't mean it's going to work. We need like a booster shot all the time. Same goes for self-awareness. In order to be self-aware, we just need to make sure that we meditate or yoga, whatever works for us, chanting, going to a temple, whatever reminds you to be in the moment and be aware of what we're doing. And in that moment, you can really remind yourself that, hey, don't get stressed about the future. Hey, it's okay. Live in the moment. So we all need to work on ourselves. You need constant work. You need to always work on yourselves.
Such wise words and so truthful, actually. In these times, being self-aware and, helping your own self first is the go-to thing. We cannot just keep running behind numbers and achievement and success until and unless we get centered in our own self first.
Absolutely. You got it right.
So last question. So you are Ridhima Berry, the owner of Candle Up, right? Would you say a candle is a must-have in today's home?
I don't think in this world there's anything which is a must-have. But definitely if you need something to sit down and relax, if a candle can do that for you, then candle is a must-have.
Oh, such sweet words. Thank you, Ridhima, for joining me for this lovely chat. And really, so much, I love your candles, and I hope that you keep spreading this love and this joy that you have as a person and as your candles.
Thank you. And before you go, I would also like to let you know that it is such a beautiful thing you're doing. You're putting such small business owners on a pedestal. It really gives them an opportunity, and hopefully starting a business takes that one first step. And hopefully by watching your channel, other housewives who've been wanting to go out and do something, by watching your channel, I hope they get motivated to take that first step and go out and be the Ridhima Berry or the whoever they are. So it's beautiful what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate your time.